Hi everyone, my name's Ben. I'm the lead educator at Lumenswap and the founder of Bullring Crypto. I've actually challenged myself, can I teach the community the basics of farming inside 10 minutes? So this is going to be short and sharp, it's going to be to the point, and it's going to be as quick as lightning. Okay, what I've chose to do here is use Elk.Finance as my example. What I want you to do is now fix your brain in 8 weeks into the future and pretend that Protocol 18 has already happened on Stellar and we have introduced automated market makers, AMMs, onto the Stellar network. The reason that Stellar is introducing these very quickly is because it brings liquidity to the network. They're going to bootstrap our crypto funds on the network to enable other people to interact and make swaps and do trades. We will then get rewarded in different native tokens from the different platforms that decide to build DeFi tools. I hope that that makes sense, okay? Lumenswap is going to be one of the pinnacle movers and shakers in this new DeFi movement on Stellar. And this is designed purely for Lumenswap, okay? This is for you guys to understand because you've been asking me so many questions. What we have, first of all, is we have this ability here on Elk to connect to a Web3 wallet, right? So a browser wallet. And the browser wallet that's used on Elk is the Metamask wallet. If I just click onto that, it just pulls it in, and you can see here we have some FTM, which is a phantom, right, token, right here in our Metamask. The reason that they use the Metamask wallet is because it's EVM compatible, meaning all of the different networks, XDAI, Matic, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, etc., they all operate with the Ethereum virtual machine, and that means that you can keep the same address and use it on multiple different networks, which is extremely handy. So here on Elk, we can actually farm 6 different chains, believe it or not. Pretty incredible, but it's true. We can farm 6 different chains. I'm going to show you the Phantom chain and one other very quickly today. And then what we can do is we can start creating yields for ourselves with the native token, which is Elk, right, from each of these farming operations. So I hope to be able to explain this to you in a way that you will understand it. We have different tabs here at the top on Elk, and we're going to have some of those on Lumenswap as well. We can obviously have the charts, that would be like the spot. This is an NFT tab, and we've been told NFTs are coming to Lumenswap. This is a single staking, so their native token is called Elk token, right, ELK, so that's when we want to stake that. This one here is a farm, so we'll be looking at that. And this one here is pool, so this is when you're providing liquidity. This is the bridge. Okay, so, and this is the actual AMM, the swap itself, okay, so this is when we're going to be swapping one token for another token. So just to quickly look at that, you'll see like this as it's open right now, it's very similar to like a Uniswap kind of look and feel. We can take a token and swap it for another. We have that at Lumenswap. Would you agree? Virtually exactly the same. We can swap from LSP to XLM. We can swap from XLM to USDC, and so on and so forth. Okay. As we add more liquidity in, the ability to do this is going to range across a much wider selection of different tokens on Stellar. Right. So if we wanted to swap some of our, let's just refresh this so that we get the balances in. Sometimes, like, it can be a bit laggy because you're using a custom RPC. What that means is that we're having to set individual different settings for each one of these different networks within our MetaMask. Okay, so sometimes we have to actually come on and you'll see it's turning and spinning, and these RPCs can be a bit laggy. But you'll see now it's pulled in my balances of different tokens within Phantom. Yeah, so just now think about this being on Stellar. Right, so we can swap, if we wanted to swap our FTM for USDC, for example, we can do that, right? We can put 2 tokens in, swap one for the other. Yeah, if we want to put in there, we want to swap 100, right? It's going to pull in the best pathway and the best price. We have to probably wait for a second because it's still taking its time. But if I click onto this, In a second, you will see that this will pull in how many FTM I'm going to be getting for my $100. Because I'm in a rush, I'm not going to wait for that. We can come back to that, right? But basically, it works in there you go, in exactly the same way, exactly the same. Yeah, you can see here, it all comes down, the minimum that you're going to receive, the price impact, and everything that you've seen before. And the route is exactly the same as what the path is on the Lumenswap swap. Yeah, it's just going to say a path. And you can see here, the cheapest path is USDC into Elk, Elk into wrapped FTM. That's going to be the way that it's going to go. And I'm going to get 80 for my $100, right? Simple. Next across, we've got this pool, right? We want to add liquidity. So this means now we've seen a farm that we want to get involved in, and we want to add 50 and 50. Now you'll see here, rather than it being an arrow, yeah, so swap from one to the other, this is a plus. We have to add two together. Now, if we come across and just have a quick look at the farms, hopefully they'll load up for us. Let's just wait. Again, as I said, the reason that this is turning is because maybe if we have a look at a less popular network, so let's go and have a look at XDAI, for example. That should be quick. Here we go. Okay, so we've clicked over now, and you can see here in rather than Phantom, it's XDAI. That's how easy it is to switch between different networks here. Well, we've got these farming opportunities. We have got some well-known farms, Link, for example. You've all heard of Chainlink and Elk. So we want to create this Link Elk farm, right? We want to farm this, and you can see here this is running at 225% APR. That's not APY, guys, APR, which is a nice tidy return on 2 tokens. Now, one of the things that you need to consider here is, are you bullish on both of these sides of these tokens? Do you think Elk's going to increase in value and Link? Because if not, you need to really be considering, right, impermanent loss. That's a separate video, but you need to be thinking about, right, are these tokens going to be stable, i.e. stable coins, or are they going to be pretty solid, right, price tokens? If they dump in value, both of these, or even one of these, your deposit will dump in value. So it doesn't come without risk. But if we wanted to deposit into here, we click on the deposit, and it'll ask us to put our liquidity tokens in. Elk LP, Elk liquidity pool tokens, right? So this is Link and Elk. To get those, we have to come across here. And when we add liquidity, we would put in here Elk onto the one side, and we would put in, we would search it, Link into the other side, right? So it's plus. We need to put in the same dollar value on both sides. So for example, here, if we put in 300, that's how many Link we would need to put on the other side. It automatically does it for you. You need to ensure that you have 50% value on one side, 50% value on the other side. When you have done this and you've provided the liquidity, we can come across then, and we can go across onto the farm, and we can come down to the farm here, and we can deposit our token that we've just created by fusing the 50% of each of our native tokens together. We fuse that together, it gives us the third token. The third token, the Elk liquidity pool token, would be the Lumenswap, right, liquidity pool token. So we might put XLM together with LSP, $500 on each side, $500 worth of XLM, $500 worth of LSP. Then we get ourselves a Lumenswap liquidity pool token. We come across to the farm and we put that into here. If we obviously had some of these, we could add the liquidity pool token right there where we've just been. If we already had some, we just go down to the farm, we click onto the deposit, and then a deposit button will pop up because it will recognize that we've got some in our wallet. That's it, we put it in, and then if we go back to our farms, you can see we would start returning ourselves 225% in APR, and that would be paid in the native Elk token. Another great thing that they've got here, guys, is then we can take that token and we can put that token into our, let's just refresh this. we can put that into our single staking pool. And you can see I've got 109 of these. This is only opened a matter of an hour ago. I've got 109 of these Elk tokens from my farming that is now returning me 438%. So we've now got a 225% on the farming that's coughing me out Elk tokens, and then the Elk tokens are then collected and I'm staking them there for another 400% return. The more that we put into the total staked, the less the APR is. Yeah, if we put in, if this doubles, this starts dropping down to, 200, 100, 80%, and so on and so forth, because there is only this amount of rewards per day. So obviously the more that's staked, the same rewards have to be shared out amongst this pool that is being staked, and that will come down. So you have to be early with these, okay? So this is a single pool in stake. This one is a dual, a dual farming operation where it's 50-50, 50-50. And that's how it's balanced. Some of the protocols out there aren't 50% each side. Some are 25 times 4, or they're 50% and then 25 and 25. But for the purpose of this video, we have 50% on each side. Now you can see here there are high amounts of XDAI in this XDAI and Elk pool. Yeah, there's a lot there, 159,000 XDAI right in there. The pool rate is 260 a day, and that will give you the APR. You move down one, you can see that there's a lot less XDAI that is staked here, right? So the total deposited. This will work out both sides, okay? So this will tell you, this is basically telling you how much that whole collective is. Both sides, both 50% work out to this total deposit. The pool rate then is only 22, look. So the pool rate is 10 times less, and it's returning 133. Obviously, it's more than 10 times, but you get the idea. 133% APR. And you can come down, you can pick, some people pick the highest APRs, but it generally happens where the APR is a lot higher on the higher risk token pairs. The higher risk, the higher the APR. Let's have a look down at the bottom generally, see if we can find something. No, they're quite low. That's probably the highest one that we could jump on there. Link is still pretty good as well. But you can see that, yeah, this Fox is the highest, 296 out of all of the farms on XDAI. So this one here, I would say it's only a very small amount of elk that in the reward pool as well, and a small amount that has been staked. But I would say this is a lot riskier, and I don't know this token. So I would say this one is a lot riskier, and that is the reason why we're seeing this. But it can be, as I've already said, the fact that there isn't a lot staked and it's still reasonably high. Just going back to our single staking pool again, you can see that's just moved up, right? This will come down when the amount staked goes up. So the more people that know about it, the more this return that you're getting, this APR, comes down. Now, what we can do, guys, here is we can take our rewards by claiming. This is also called harvesting, yeah, farming, harvesting, you get the idea, right? We can claim our rewards, and depending on the network, I mean, Stellar's ideally placed, because when we click claim here, it, on some networks, such as Ethereum, for example, Ethereum's going to cost you maybe $8 and $10 to claim. Right? You don't want to be paying $8 and $10 to claim. What's that going to be worth? Hardly anything. Well, you don't want to be, spending that, but you might want to be claiming 2 and 3 times a day, depending on how many this is kicking out. Right? And then you say to yourself, well, Stellar's ideally placed because I can do 1 million farming operations for about $3. You can't do 1 million farming operations for $3 on Ethereum. It'll cost you 3 million minimum, $3 a time if we look at our gas fees recently. So you can see that this is, Stellar's ideally placed. And Lumenswap's going to have all of these different functionalities. We're going to have the swap, We're going to have the bridge. We're going to have the add-in LP, the pooling. We're going to have the farming. Maybe, I don't know, single staking of LSP. That would be super cool. We've already got the charts, yeah, with the spot functionality. That would be the guides here is like the markets and all of the information so that you can see that we've got our documents. This is the information and the markets and the rewards and all that kind of juicy stuff, the analytics to get stuck into, right, would be here on the main button. But we've got all of the same things as what they've got, and these guys are farming across on 6 different chains. We look at Elk.Net. This is their bridge. You can see at the minute it's 10,000, yeah, Elk per transfer. They're roughly $3, $280 a time at the moment. So this is about $28,000 that we can transfer across on the bridge, yeah, and it costs virtually nothing, which is insane. So we can now do transactions across any of these different networks. So from XDAI, we can go to Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom, Huobi, and Binance Smart Chain, and we can get $28,000 across there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's minimum 2 minutes between transfers for that to happen. I've noticed that this is one of the fastest, cheapest bridges out there for people, and it's still pretty much under the radar. But with Lumenswap is going to provide us with all of these features that I've just spoke to you about now. Every single feature that I'm speaking to you about on the EVM networks, which we are witnessing right now with Elk.Finance, we're going to be doing on Stellar. And I think this is the reason why I'm so excited, I'm so bullish, because of the speed of transaction. You know, if I just want to, I mean, this is XDAI. I don't know how fast the swap is here, but let's just try and swap. What have we got? Let's try and swap one of these. XDAI. Refresh that. Let's try and swap. If it comes in again. I hope that it doesn't glitch out when I'm trying to do this little example. But if we come in here, let's try and find, should we try and find that Fox? Yeah, XDAI Fox, see if we can find a couple of them. I bet they're reasonably cheap, are they? Let's have a look. If we swap one of them, how many Foxes are we going to get? We shall wait. There we go. Yeah, so they are, you get 3.32 of these Foxes to 1 XDAI. So we're going to just swap them over. It's got a very small price impact. We're going to swap them and just see how fast this network is. It's popped up on my Metamask. It's asked me to confirm, and then it's pending. Stellar would have confirmed now, 3 to 5 seconds in finality, and it's still going. It's still going. It's still wanting to confirm. Let's just see how long this takes. Okay, so we would have already been off and doing our shopping or something with the wife and the kids now, because it would have already gone through on Stellar. We're still waiting for the custom RPC to interact with the network and for this transaction to be sorted out. And yeah, it's still going, right? But you can see at the bottom here, just while we're waiting for that, we've gone into Elk. This is the route, this is the path that it's taken. So we've gone into the wrapped XDAI, into Elk and into Fox. Right, we can just close that off, or we can view it on the Explorer. So you can click onto the Explorer and you can see that that's actually confirmed 6 seconds, 7 seconds ago. Now it's just lagging out a little bit on here. If we refresh that, we would see that this is now confirmed. There you go. So we've swapped. So probably 2-3 times the speed, yeah, of what Stellar transaction would be. So it's cost me more, yeah, and it's slower. And this is one that is not even heavy traffic. Yeah, there's no serious usage in DeFi on XDAI, not serious usage, right, like there is on like Polygon, Phantom, Binance Smart Chain. So you can see already the advantages that we're going to have on Stellar over this kind of platform. I've failed miserably in my 10 minutes to teach you farming. I do apologize for that. It's been 18 minutes, but I hope there's been some insights, and I hope you can now lift this and you can kind of say, oh, wow, this is like what we're going to be expecting and how easy it is for me to be able to do this. One of the things that I say to people is you need to be accumulating LSP right now. The reason for this is when you come back to the swap and you come onto your native token here, you're going to have an absolute boatload of LSP. You're going to need these LSP for all of these different farming partnerships, right? So we look at the farming, you're going to need to have like, this will be like, instead of elk, just imagine it's LSP. So we're going to have all of these different pairs, XLMG, that might be Doggit, that might be USDC, this one might be XLM, this one might be Velo. You get the idea, right? So you can have all these different ones. Now you're going to have to either purchase the other token, you're going to have a boatload of LSP where you can actually buy some of those other tokens so you can start your farming operation. If you're just selling out now for like a couple of bucks, you're missing out on these potential returns that we're going to be getting, you know, 100, 200 and nearly 300% on this platform per year. And I mean, who doesn't want, like, you know, compound on top of compound on top of compound? So just, you know, use your brain rather than trying to flip and trying to be a day trader if you're not one and trying to make $10 here and $50 there. Think to yourself, you know, you're highly likely to be able to really amplify those gains, those profits that you're going to be making in the short term if you hold on. If you start looking at how you can amplify your LSP now, then in the next few weeks, you're going to be able to put that to a much better use when these farms go live on Lumenswap. Thanks, guys. Hope it's been useful. And also a massive big shout out to the Elk Massive, because I know you guys are coming across or looking to come across onto Stellar as well. So a non-EVM related chain. And you know, kudos to you for that and all of the coding that takes. But you've been one of the best projects, absolute best projects I've been involved in 2021, and I farm on 4 chains here. I've got Moose NFTs on Matic, you know, which are yield bearing NFTs, and I take my hat off to you, you know, that all of the work that you've done. So even though I'm you know, got Lumenswap tattooed on my heart, kudos to everything that you guys have done at Elk.Finance. You know, really impressive to see. Take care, everyone, and I'll catch you again soon.